I'm gonna be on the computer on the.
Okay, I'd like to call the Reac meeting to order. Roll call, Peg Zugby,
Dashboard, yeah.
Ron Jamar, Tim Riley, Mark Geller is outside the room and he'll be back and we'll be joining him. So he's here, just not physically here. Okay, we don't have any action items. We have no new business. We have no old business. When it comes to the treasurer's report, I'll ask the board if they can, Irene, which is running behind, so I'll explain what she was going to say. As we agreed about a month ago, we're transitioning into bringing our financials in-house. We have the talent, we have the treasurer, we have all the pieces, we brought it in, we've redone our online accounting system. We're going through the process of integrating everything, and it's a long answer to, I'd like to table our Reac financials until June, and at that point, we'll do the past several months, March, April, and May at our June meeting. We just want to make sure it's done right and it's done accurately, and we're still transitioning as far as getting that information. Is everybody on the board okay with that? Yeah. So I don't know if there's actually an action I have to make to table it, but we're gonna table the Reac financials until June. Okay.
So are you asking for a motion?
I don't know if we really need a motion on that. Okay,
All right,
motion to
move to
table?
table it.
Okay, Peg, do I have a Raj? Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
I think, by the way, just as, I think this was an excellent action by us, to do this, bring it in-house. All right, with that said, I'm going to read the minutes. Called to order at 11:08 a.m. There were no action items, no new business, no old business. The treasury report, because we are transitioning from having a vendor to having our treasurer's report produced in-house. We're still working through the process. I request that the board make a motion to table the treasurer's report until our June meeting. Motion by Peg Zugby, seconded by Raj Amar, all in favor. That said, if there's a motion to adjourn. Second?
Second.
Okay. Okay, thank you. Peg Zugby, I'm sorry.
We didn't put in the minutes how Mark donated $1,000.
Steve, take the vote. You
All in
gotta.
Oh, all in favor of adjourning?
Aye.
Do we have anybody online watching us? Okay,
We do have one person watching.
okay, good. Okay,
That's my wife. It's you,
I'm one, and there's two.
okay. All right, I'd like to call the IDA meeting to order. I'll do the roll call. Peg Zugby. Yeah. Mark Geller, Raj Amar.
Yeah.
Tim Riley.
Irene will be here soon.
She's gonna be here anyway. Okay, so we can get started. Yeah. Our first order of business is the board to consider amending authorizing resolution for North Myrtle Avenue. Actually, we have the folks here,
Can
if
you
we want to
invite
invite them to come in.
Michael Klein and the folks
And-
from,
Okay, and I'm gonna ask you to kind of get the overview a little bit.
And there's two of them, right?
yes,
In many ways, we look at them as one project, but they're
Right,
actually
there's two applicants because it's two different sites.
which is made reporting on 2 North Myrtle Avenue projects.
Corner of the garden, corner of the garden.
And I'm forever like, which one is which? Which one is which?
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning, thank you for coming. What we do is, we're gonna ask Dan to kind of give an overview of what we're considering this morning, and then I'll invite you guys to kind of give us a little chat. And before we go any further, okay, Irene Hoffman is now present and joining us, so we have a full board attending the meeting. All right, with.
Sure. Thank you. For the board's edification, the IDA received a letter from Mr. Klein, on behalf of his client. Two clients, as we said, one is commonly known as a Myrtle Corner project, and the other one is known as Myrtle Gardens project. Essentially, I'll deal with the first one on the agenda. Myrtle Corner project, also known as North Myrtle Avenue project. The IDA back in 2022 approved a aid package for a 19 apartment complex, and the letter that we received is asking for, due to, so I'll let you guys get into the reasons for that, but essentially the request is to have an increase in sales tax benefits from $155,000 to $214,000, and then to increase the mortgage recording tax from a mortgage of $4.5 million to a mortgage of $5.2 million. And if it's okay, I'll just talk about the second.
Yeah, I was gonna say, if you don't mind, even though there's two resolutions, we're gonna kind of talk about it a little more globally. Yes.
Great, that's the first one. The second one similarly is for the Myrtle Gardens project, again approved on the same day back in 2022. This one is for a larger project. It's a 30 unit, I'm sorry?
70 unit.
Oh, 70, I'm sorry, yes, that, you're right, that's right. That's including various 34 bedrooms, 33 bedrooms, 22 bedrooms. But again, they're asking to go from sales tax benefits of $921,000 to $1.2 million, and then mortgage abatement for a mortgage from $25 million to $29.3 million. Both of these items, not only for the first project, but also for these additional benefits, have been subject to public hearing. We've had a public hearing report. There was no negative comments on it. And with that, both of these are before you, but the first one is the Myrtle Corner one. And that's what we have before you.
And maybe if I could ask, just to give a little overview of, what you've experienced, what prompted you to come to us, I guess we.
Sure. Again, good morning, everyone. My name is Michael Klein. I'm with the law firm of Harvey Doherty and Rockefeller. With me is Shirley Eisenberg, who is the general operations manager for both projects. So he's the one that is familiar with the details. Since we came to you in 2022 and the projects were induced, it took a little while for the construction to get underway. And we are back here today for really two main reasons. One is, on both projects, the initial estimates for cost were a little bit overly optimistic. So things, even at that point, seemed to be costing more than we had originally planned. And now materials, it's almost 3 years later, it's 4 years later. So material costs have gone up fairly dramatically. And particularly in the 26 North Myrtle project, there were some changes there, including the addition of an underground garage. That resulted in some significant increases in site costs and drainage work. So we're substantially under construction. With regard to the additional mortgage tax requests, we do have mortgage commitments from Northeast Bank for both projects to cover the additional mortgage tax. So both projects have been monitored not only by our reporting to the IDA, but also by our financing. And the costs are justified, and we've done what we could to minimize costs, but unfortunately, what we're asking for seems to be the minimum that we really need to complete both projects. Now, Mr. Eisenberg will be here to answer any more specific questions about each site, but that's basically where we are. So we're substantially underway. We hope to be completed, and not too long, but we need the additional sales tax revenue as well as the mortgage tax revenue to get the additional materials purchased and the additional construction financing so we can pay for what's left to be done.
Question?
Yeah. Has the revisions to the project been approved by the village?
Oh yeah, everything is approved. We've had building permits and everything underway for over 2 years.
How are we with the labor policy?
Labor is great. In fact, I get the reports, I get the weekly reports from you, the labor reports have been very good, the binder is very much in order. The person on site who is, organizing the binder has everything organized with zips, IDs, everything is pinpointable.
When's your completion date? Do you have one?
So we don't have a perfect completion date, but
This sounds like a forever job.
the 19, yeah. So on the 19 units, we hope to be out of there and have a ribbon cutting in 3 months from now. That's the hope. And with the right funds in place, we could meet that date. On the 70 unit project, which is the Myrtle Garden, the bigger project, we anticipate 7 months. We should be out of there in 7 months.
And did you have, I assume, approval of the school district? I know they have some upheaval with their central administration. You have their approval. I'm
Oh,
assuming.
yes.
Did you have an estimate of how many children would be generated out of the projects?
You know, we did originally, I didn't represent the client in, the zoning approvals with the village. I've only been involved with the financing. And I don't remember what the estimate was. But that had been presented, to the school district. They were involved with the original zoning approvals for the village of Spring Valley. So they, they approved and were not objecting to the nature of the project. And a portion of the project is affordable based on the village's requirements. So the larger project, I think it's about 50% of the units. The smaller project, I think it's about a little less than a third of the units. And it's a mix of 4, 3, and 2 bedroom units. So it's there are certainly school-age children that are anticipated, but it's not a huge amount based on the size of the units, which are relatively modest.
Just a quick question, just to clarify, would you say the additional benefits, you're coming today, are going to allow you to complete the project as originally presented to us? I know there were some revisions additional, like the garage and such, but these benefits are going to enable you to complete the project as originally, presented to us.
Yes, clearly, the benefits will enable us to finish construction, which is why we're here.
Just wanted to- Any questions, anyone? I guess with that said.
I'll make a motion.
Motion. Do I have a second? Mark? Okay, I'll do the roll call. Mark Geller. Peg Zugady.
Yes.
Irene Coughlin.
Yes.
Raj Amar.
Yes.
Tim Riley.
We'll hold them to 3 months.
I hope it's recorded.
Oh, it is.
Yes.
Yes. Let's say 3 months after the construction loan closes.
Okay. So, for the first resolution, all are in favor for the North Myrtle Avenue, amending authorizing resolution. Did I say something? I'm sorry. Oh, okay. And then for the amending authorizing resolution for Myrtle Gardens, I guess we could go through the process of asking you all basically the same questions. Is there anything material different to the circumstances that you presented regarding the first project?
No, they're
There's
similar, except the site issues on the larger project were more significant than the small project.
I guess on the second resolution, I don't know if the board has any questions you want to address to that. Presumably, is the labor just to have things on the
Labor
record?
for this month is 83.5% between both projects.
Okay, and that exceeds our 80%.
That exceeds our 80%.
Go ahead.
I have a question. Did you have trouble, there might have been a couple of issues in the beginning, getting everybody on board. But have you had a problem maintaining that 80% labor policy?
So being very honest, I'm on this project for 7 months now, and after those 7 months, it was just beautiful, seamless.
Okay.
Yeah, the organization on site is they're one of our top
That,
projects.
okay, and that, I appreciate that. My point is that building an apartment building in Spring Valley, you had no problem maintaining the 80%. Thank you.
I guess with that said, if someone wants, I assume With no other questions, we'll make a motion regarding the second.
Second.
Okay. Okay, I'll do the roll. Mark Geller, Kate Zugby,
Yes.
Irene Coughlin.
Yes.
Roger Mar.
Yes.
Tim Ryan, yes. All in favor, the motion passes.
Thank you so much for your time,
Gentlemen.
we appreciate it, and
Good seeing
we
you.
look forward to getting you an
Right,
invite. once the
Councilman,
project is
Dan.
done.
Just one point, like every resolution that the IDA passes, the county exec will be presented with both resolutions for signature. Once we receive that, we already have the ST60 forms prepared, sent to the state. So,
And I'll
just give
send
that,
you a copy
yeah,
as
and
well.
just give that a week or so before you exceed any,
That's for the sales tax.
sales tax, yeah. I just want to give you on that, so we don't anticipate a negative response, but just a little bit of a lag there. about a week
Okay.
or so. Okay,
Excellent, and our office will be in touch to coordinate.
please, yeah,
on the-
yeah,
on the laws.
we'll take care of that,
Good
of
luck.
course.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye, thank you.
Yes, I knew.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I know exactly.
Okay, I guess with that said, let's, maybe someone, if you want to go get our next guest. Morning.
Morning.
How are you?
Avi Nani.
Hi, Abby, how are you?
Good.
Morning. Talked on the phone, we didn't have an opportunity to actually.
Blue Star?
Just so you expect this is a new project, I'm just gonna give a very general overview, but I'm gonna really turn it over to you to kind of give a, just a broad overview of the project, and the board will ask questions as they see fit. Again, this is a new project, the Route 202 Professional Plaza. It is, again, a new project. They're looking for the traditional mix of sales tax, mortgage tax, pilot. And with that said, I'd ask you maybe to introduce yourselves again. We talked over the phone, but introduce yourselves again and talk about the project in general terms.
Well, we're here representing Blue Shine Capital. Blue Shine Capital is a family-owned business. We're involved in real estate investments, primarily in the Rockland County area. This project we've been working on for over 10 years. We acquired the land, and then we had different thoughts, and then we looked into different things and what we want to invest in and what we thought would be good for the county. We met with the county a couple of times, and they gave us ideas as far as warehousing, and as far as providing jobs for different people in the community and so forth. So we went through many redesigns for this area, and one of the things that we found that was important is that there's a big need apparently in Rockland County for smaller warehousing areas instead of some of these bigger places. And also there's quite a bit of interest in freezer space. So this is still part of the redesign, whether or not we're going to have cold, chilled warehousing. So we'll see as we get closer to the table, even though the plans are pretty much substantially done, if in fact we're going to end up putting that kind of slab in. This is just the difference in the foundation. But primarily our interest was to try to maintain, to give back into the community to see if we can provide employment, which is also a very positive thing for that whole area. And it's well situated. If you notice the property and the access to 202 to the highway, it's really set up well. We've spoken to so many different logistics companies with regard to getting on and off the highway, with regard to the Department of Transportation and so forth. So we feel pretty confident that this is a very positive move for this area. And that being said, I primarily handle the construction, the development, the acquisitions is more handled on this side. So I follow that thing, that aspect, the management of properties and so forth. So Avi can tell you a little bit more about the finance maybe, and how we go about dealing with different properties that we get invested in.
On the finance side,
Well,
I guess most of what we do is in Rockland County. We have an office on Robert Pitt. We have some retail that we're involved in. But we've done some development here in Rock County in the past, a little bit of multifamily. And now we're here ready to start, hopefully start this 231,000 square foot warehouse.
Any questions?
Yeah, I have some. Go ahead, you first.
How many acres do you have currently that you're gonna build a 231,000 square foot?
Believe the total, it was actually two different properties that were combined, and I believe it's close to 25 acres if I'm not mistaken.
And on your 231,000 square foot, were you planning to put a couple of warehouses? Or are you looking to make one big warehouse with different divisions inside?
Now I wish I would have brought the drawing for you, you would have gotten a better picture. But it's actually two warehouses that are joined, it's one. It looks like one huge warehouse, but it's two warehouses that are put together as one. So and there's a section in the middle where they can have access for like garbage. The elevators are in the middle, so they can do cleaning and so forth.
There's a common corridor.
Yeah, exactly. There's a common area in between, and it's different levels because of the elevation of the property. For those of you who aren't familiar, it's like mountainous. So one side of the building is up high, the other side is much lower. So you have different elevations. Yeah, I'm sorry that I didn't bring this. It would have given you pictures. Always tell 1,000 words, eh? So I can provide it for the board if they would like. We can provide you a rendering of what we're hoping it would look like.
Okay, before we get there, I have a question. You might go with refrigerated spaces, which dictate what kind of concrete you pour. Is that gonna change your application?
No.
So there's not a cost incurred with the heavier concrete?
There is a cost incurred, but we've anticipated already that this is probably the venue that we'll be going through, so.
What's on the site, as it like that site, what is it like today? Is there anything on that site? Is there?
Fairland.
So it's basically just a vacant.
I believe it was a farm, right?
It was a horse farm years ago.
So this is a new construction on
Yeah.
On empty
previously
land, yeah.
unused land that was used for vacant property, okay.
I'm just curious, do you have all the zoning and
No, it's common.
planning board
Everything
approval?
is done. This, we actually been talking about coming here for probably over a year already, and the reason we held off on it is because we wanted to make sure we had all our approvals and everything. It was a process, I'll be telling you, it was the last 2.5, 3 years we've been working on it steadily. It was a long, tedious process, a lot of money in engineering, a lot of going back and forth with the Department of Transportation. We've invested quite a bit of money to get it to where we are now, and now we're reaching out, hopefully, for some assistance here.
Did you say that assistance is necessary for you to go forward with the project?
Oh, yes.
And the number of employees, that's gonna be more involved with you when you get the tenants, correct?
Correct.
And they did provide projections on anticipated, but again, those are projections since you necessarily
Yeah.
can't, and we
I
understand.
sent the two cost benefit analysis, one with projections
Right.
clearly stated and one with what we can actually.
Does anybody have any other questions?
So is this by the Boulder Stadium?
No.
So where are you located? I mean, where's this 25 acres? If you just give us a general idea.
You're going down two towards the Evergreen Supermarket.
Yeah,
Right before Evergreen, make a left toward,
There's a-
Leiden
Oh, right
Town.
before Evergreen.
Right before Evergreen, on the
Yeah.
left side is Leiden Town. There's a
oh,
self-storage
yes,
there.
yes.
The land right on top of it.
Got it.
Okay,
And that's where their temple is. It's by Native Town.
so going towards Suffern, it's on the right-hand side.
Correct.
There's a little
Yeah.
strip.
And it is, I know, it's
Right,
like-
right.
Yeah, that's why you said it's gonna be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Town hall,
Yeah, right, near the town hall,
Yeah.
exactly.
On the EAS, it's listed as being 13 acres, not 20 acres.
There's two properties though.
But he said two properties, right?
There is two properties.
Well, the two properties have been merged
Right.
already.
Are they?
I'm just going off the document.
Oh, that's
that
very,
you
then
provided.
I'm mistaken, I apologize. I was just going.
My
off the top
house
of my
is
head.
just shrunk.
No. The warehouse is still gonna be the same size. We've worked a lot on this thing.
It's that corner property there by Camp Hill.
Yeah.
That, yeah, I know exactly where it is. You know,
Yeah, I know.
Mobile is down that street there.
I wonder why I thought it was,
You have access to 202?
Cunningham.
off of,
Layton, yeah.
Off of Lake, you gotta run to Layton Town Road before you,
Right.
in other words, you're not direct on 202.
No.
Any more questions, board? I guess,
So it took you 10 years to get this property going. How long will it take you to finish it? That you anticipate?
It's probably, 18 months to 2 years to do the
Oh, that's
total
not bad.
construction. No, it's not a lot. It took a long time because there's a lot of bureaucracies involved. I'm sure you're familiar with it. The Department of Transportation is not the easiest. I'm not to say that they give us a hard time. It's just they have a process, you know? They have a process. They go back and forth, and every time you go back and forth, it could take 6 weeks, 8 weeks before you get back another answer, and time just keeps going by. That was part of it. The environmental was another part of it, which took some time. Rockland County Sewer District was another issue. We have to make sure we have enough sewage. We went through so many different organizations to try to make sure that all this is provided correctly. Utilities were all assessed. We had, and again, that I think the environmental was probably what took the longest. But they did a lot of probing and a lot of digging to make sure that the foundation could be done, and make sure there's no chemicals in the ground, and make sure that the neighbors aren't going to be affected. There was a lot of this too. I had even the state came down. They wanted to make sure they thought that there was turtles on the property and that maybe were affecting other wildlife. And it's crazy but it is what it is. You have to go through it.
Make a little pond for the turtles. All right.
I guess with that said, I'll ask if anybody on the board would like to make a motion on
I
this
can make a
motion.
motion.
Mark, do I have a second? Mark Geller. Okay, roll call. Mark Geller. Peg Zugby.
Yes.
Irene Coughlin.
Yes.
Roger Marr.
Yes.
Tim Riley. Yes. Okay. Gentlemen, you've been induced. Okay. Well, we'll follow up with you, directly. The next step will be a public hearing. You're not required to attend. That'll probably be a town hall. We'll notify you when. You're welcome to go, but you're not required to go or present at that.
Okay.
We'll have a public hearing, and the next step would be an authorizing resolution, and we'll talk about that.
Okay.
But thank you for coming in today.
Thank you. Thank you all for your
Thank
time.
you. Good luck.
Thank
Good
you.
luck.
Thank you.
Good luck.
Yeah, let me sign this.
You're signing that you're going to finish in 18 months. Remember that? And you'll have a pond for the turtles.
I'll be connecting with you on our labor policy.
Okay.
So we'll be out there anyway. So perfect timing.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much. Okay. Yeah, with that, go ahead. It had to be, I'd like to, ask the board if we could go in, oh, yes? No, we're gonna, later, like to ask the board if we can go into executive session actually for, 2 reasons. One, a personnel matter regarding compensation, and a legal matter involving, partnership matter. So I need,
I have one more question.
and,
I have one more question.
Yes.
So, do it in executive session.
oh, okay, okay. All right, so
So.
I'll make the
mute
motion.
us?
we gotta go into executive session.
Yeah,
Turn it
but
off, yeah.
she's getting ready.
So-
Okay.
Okay, all in Okay, it is 12:06,
Are we live?
and I'd like to ask for a motion to re-enter public session. Okay,
Second.
And
Okay.
nothing was voted on? In that
no,
case?
nothing was voted on.
Okay.
You know, we
Just
stayed to the
discussion.
topics of discussion as I initiated. And I'm sorry, who made the second? Okay, all in favor?
I,
Okay, I'm actually gonna ask quickly if we could jump to labor report before the other two items under new business, because Dan has a timing issue. So Sarah, can you,
Sure.
update the board on our labor report?
I sure can. So the April labor report, overall, we are at 81% compliance for all of our projects. That includes 30 West, which we are still having a monthly labor compliance issue with. They are at 18% for April. That is all reflected on the chart. That issue in terms of how we are dealing with it is now with legal. So that is with Dan. We have contacted the project and that's where we are.
So that's that. Okay. Any questions about the labor report? Okay. Thank you, Dan.
Thank you.
Okay,
I do apologize, I got a.
And then I will follow up with you on that other matter regarding that
Yeah.
email. We'll talk later.
Perfect. It's my physical, and I've missed 2 already, and she's really on me.
That's a good doctor, yes.
Well, good luck then.
We hope to see you next month.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for the
Bye, Dan.
All right.
Thank you.
Okay, we have 2 items for new business. The BOCES partnership matter, we'll deal with that first. The board has, reviewed that. I don't know if we really need to go in detail about it. What I guess we're asking today is for the board to consider, approval for us, directing us to go forward on entering, working through an agreement with BOCES on partnering with them.
Just a point, the board, all the board members got an e-board with the proposal, have reviewed it, so now we want to move forward.
Yes. So with that measure,
on that motion, I have to abstain.
okay, Peg is gonna abstain for conflict of interest. Okay, Irene, you're gonna make a motion, second.
I'll second.
Tim Riley, okay, I'll call the roll. Irene Coughlin,
Yes.
Raj Amar,
Yes.
Tim Riley.
Yes.
And Peg Zugby is
On the board
abstaining,
of
she's on the board of BOCES, so she has to abstain, and Mark Geller had to leave for another timing. So motion passes. On the next item, the Rockland Community College Partnership agreement that's being considered, there's a resolution that is asking, essentially is outlines of the partnership and asking the board to direct us to, go forward as far as entering into an agreement with the Rockland Community College Foundation and Rockland Community College on workforce development programs, which is consistent with our mission.
Again, the board has reviewed a revised proposal from RCC. After dialogue with the staff, they've removed some things, and the board has all seen the revised proposal, and that's what we're voting.
So with that said,
I have to abstain.
Irene has to abstain because
I'll
she.
move it,
But
I can move
okay.
You can move it, okay.
because I'm not on that.
Right.
That's the one I'm not
One,
on.
you're.
So motion by.
Not
That's
yet.
the only one I'm
Yeah,
not
not yet, just give them a minute.
Okay, right that fast.
You wanna come on board?
Okay, Raj Amar
That didn't
second.
take long.
Okay, Peg Zugby,
Yes.
Raj Amar, yes, Tim Riley, yes. Okay, that's that. There is no old business. The treasurer's report, we have the March treasurer's report that we, sent
We're gonna
you.
do the same thing as we did.
But
We have-
again, we're in
We have
transition.
March.
So we transitioned to where we give you the March report.
Oh.
Because we're still transitioning, working through the kinks of merging, I won't go into the
And our
details.
board meeting was earlier
Yeah.
this.
It was earlier this month,
Yeah.
at our June meeting, we will catch up on our IDA as well as the Reac as I discussed before. So I guess with that said,
You want a motion to table?
no, we can
No,
do the
No, we
March.
have
can approve March.
Oh, you haven't?
I did it, yeah.
Yeah, that's.
And I guess, actually, I'm overstepping because it's a treasurer's report, and I'm used to doing it, but I guess going forward, I probably ask the treasurer to give the treasurer's report. But I don't know if there's anything you want to add to it.
Let me
recorded, we had receipts for 2 new projects. We had a collection of compliance fees, three compliance fees, and the rest were standard expenses that we have from my review on a monthly basis. Anybody have any questions?
I'll make a motion to accept the treasurer.
Do I have a second?
Second.
I guess I'll just do them all in favor. Okay, with that said, I don't have any other items. Yes.
We're going to move forward with that MT account. We need a motion.
Okay,
You wanna wait till the next one?
yeah, let's, just because I want to make sure we're,
I'm good.
M&T has asked Irene, we were considering opening an account with M&T and we've talked about that somewhat. But Irene, as new treasurer, has asked for, she'd like the board to actually give a more formal action directing her to, sign, the authority to establish an M&T account. I'm not sure where the line lies as far as how much is public, discussion or not. I mean, but, if the board, what M&T has asked Irene to do is, submit a request so that she is a co-signer on any accounts we open as treasurer. And Irene rightly said she wants direction of the board before she does that. I don't know if we need a formal resolution. We haven't determined the particulars yet, as far as what, but,
So what are you looking for?
authorizing Irene to go ahead and establish, I'm a signer, but she's asking for authority to submit the paperwork so that she is a co-signer on any financial transactions we were to do with M&T. And it would be the same with anybody else. Right, so it makes sense. This is not a.
I'll make the motion.
Okay,
And I'll second.
okay. All right, all in favor? Irene obviously didn't vote, so it's 3. I guess, no, we'll leave it at 3. Okay, with that said, I will, unless there's no other business, I will go ahead and read the minutes. Okay, call to order at 11:15 a.m. Four present, and then Irene Coughlin joined in present for a full board of 5 members. Board considered amending authorizing resolution for the North Myrtle Avenue project, since it is a sister project to the Myrtle Garden project, which is the second resolution regarding this. We gave an overview of both projects. Dan Birmingham Council provided the overview explaining that it's a request to increase for both projects to increase the sales tax amount and the mortgage recording tax increase. Then invited representatives of the project to explain why they needed the increase, and they gave an overview discussion, explained that there were increased costs associated with this since first-time approvals, and there was a number of questions from the board. Chairman, as an example, Chairman Riley asked questions about were the revisions to the project approved by the village, is the labor compliance status, all answered to their satisfaction. Following discussion, a motion by Tim Riley, seconded by Mark Geller, all members were in favor, motion approved. The Myrtle Gardens project again mirrored much of the discussion of the first resolution, with much of the same answers that again increased costs since initial approvals, and the applicant did detail that they would require the increase to go forward with the project as presented to the board several years ago. Following discussion, a motion by Mark Geller, seconded by Peg Zugby, all in favor. Next item was an inducement resolution on Route 202 Professional Plaza. Gave an overview was provided, that they are requesting sales tax, mortgage tax, and the ability to negotiate a pilot with the local taxing entities. Representatives of the project provided again a more detailed overview of the project, its location, the timing and issues involved with getting approvals, and that they do have their local approvals largely in place and are now coming to us to ask for these incentives. Again, members asked a variety of questions. Roger Morris questions as far as describing the physical structures, which noted that there were 2 buildings, but almost looking like one side by side with some shared services as an example. They did note that the property is vacant property, was at one time perhaps a horse farm, but is vacant, and that this is essentially almost a brand new gradable on that project. Again, following discussions, a motion was made by Raj Amar, seconded by Mark Geller, all in favor. At this time, a motion was made to go into executive session to discuss personnel matter and compensation. That motion was made by Tim Riley, seconded by Raj Amar. Excuse me. Executive session, came out of executive session with a motion at 12:06 p.m. Motion by Peg Zugby, seconded by Irene Coughlin, all were in favor. It was noted that no decisions or votes were made on any topic during the executive session. At this time, the board, was presented a labor report by our business relations manager, who noted that the projects were generally, with the exception of one project, were exceeding our 80% local labor threshold. That said, the board then considered a motion regarding and resolution regarding entering into or authorizing to go into a partnership agreement with BOCES of Rockland. The board had previously reviewed the proposals of what the partnership would reflect. Motion by Irene Coughlin, seconded by Tim Riley, all in favor, with Peg Zugby recusing herself due to a conflict of interest. She is on the BOCES Board of Education. Motion passed. The board then considered a partnership resolution involving a partnership with Rockland Community College. That would, again, as with BOCES, would also promote workforce development, which is consistent with the IDA's mission. Following discussion, the motion was made by Irene Coughlin, motion was made by Peg Zugby, seconded by Raj Amar. Irene Coughlin abstained because she sits on the Rockland Community College Foundation board. Motion first by Peg Zugby, seconded by Raj Amar. All in favor, motion passed. Treasurer's report was given, again noted that since we are in the midst of transitioning from an outside vendor to internally doing the bookkeeping with staff and with our treasurer, we are still in transition, but the March financials were reviewed and accepted by the board with a motion by Tim Riley, seconded by Peg Zugby. All in favor that the March financial report was accepted. With that said, Treasurer Irene Coughlin brought up a matter that the board had previously considered working with M&T Bank on potential investment that would be within the parameters of our labor or investment policy. The board has been asked to consider and authorizing Irene, who requested that she be authorized to go ahead and submit paperwork that would allow her to be a legal co-signer for any financial commitments the IDA makes with M&T. Motion by Tim Riley, seconded by Raj Amar. All in favor, motion passed. Okay. That said, need somebody to accept the minutes? 1 second. Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. And a motion to adjourn.
So
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. And that concludes the meeting. Thank you, everyone.
Take care.
Okay, Peg, thanks again. Are we off?
That was good to see you.
We are absolutely.
Before you leave, we got,
No, I have this on that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so paranoid because this is required. I mean, I know you know what you're doing.
Yeah, no,
If I was doing it,